Hey guys, okay, so where do we leave off? Okay, so we've got our little bag. Don't worry, after we've done these are kind of the basics that we're doing. In the next couple of tutorials after this one, we will actually have a figure and model something really cool in them, so we can go through step by step on a proper kind of a production way of modeling. So what I'm doing here is I've duplicated the belt and just selecting the edges so I can just differentiate them a little so they don't look exactly like the top one, so it just kind of, keeps that realism for realsies. Um, and then once again, you can just push things uh, push things the way you want. Okay, I'm just using a hand look here because it's not very important. I don't need absolute accuracy here, so just just putting it in properly. Okay. Um, always spin around your work, see what you can see. Always constantly be looking. Tumble your view, rotate your work so you see what's happening. Okay. All angles. You need to look at all angles. You're working in 3D, work in all angles. So I've grouped these objects, and the pivot remains in the center, which is great. And this allows me to just duplicate the bag and rotate it anywhere around the belt, which is cool. So instead of modeling an entire new bag, you can just uh, group all the elements that you want and and duplicate the entire group and rotate it. Okay, so now we're gonna make like kind of like a canister or something. Probably a bad canister, but just continuing on learning how to model with polygons and using it. Uh, let's check it. Let's check it out. Okay. So start off with a cube. I've stretched it a bit. I'm taking my edge loop tool again. I'm tightening it. So when you put two edges close together, it tightens it. And the more close they are, the more tighter it gets. Okay. So I just put one in the middle there because just to even it all out. So I've got a bit of a canister now. Um, I'm selecting its faces, the top faces, and so we're breaking the single mesh up into two separate pieces. Okay, so I'm selecting the faces and just breaking them apart. Boom. Okay, two separate pieces now. So now I've got these two separate pieces. I can smooth them, and now I've got something. Now I can work a little better with this if I need to. So I'm extruding the top one and I'm offsetting it just slightly. And this just gives me kind of a, what's that, a smoke grenade or a flask of some sort, okay? For some, all army people need their warm tea or coffee. So, um, just, just making something, yeah, it's just techniques for now. So we can put that on, we can put it where we like it. And, we've got something there. I don't know what grenade or flashbang or whatever it looks like this, but, let's call it a flask for now. Um, and that's it. Now you can see the bottom. Look at that. It doesn't have many edges around there. We need to add more edges because it kind of caves in on itself. It's thin. So once we tighten it up, it maintains its volume. Okay? It keeps its volume then. So that's exactly what we're doing now. We're just breaking it up a little, adding some nice edge loops in there so we can keep it nice and we can maintain its volume. And you'll see now, once, always work in a view that's best suited for you, okay? This view, 4 on the keyboard wireframe, allows me to see everything I need to see, okay? Now I'll go back into 5, and I can see what that's done. Let's have a look at what that's done, and it's tightened up those edges for me. So now I've got a nice lip on there, or a nice edge on there. And that's it. It's once you get into the swing of things, once you start using these tools, just mess around and use the tools, and you'll start seeing what's happening. So now if I smooth this, now I've actually smoothed that from mesh and smooth. Now I've got something really cool. You see, which is cool. It's just testing it. If I smooth it now, it looks good. It fits perfectly. It's got a great edge, and it works. Okay. So now for this, I'm going to select the edges. What do we need to make with this? Well, we kind of want to make another belt. How do we want to attach this thing onto the belt. So I'm going to duplicate those faces that I chose. And there we go. It gives me something like that. That's pretty cool. So now I can take that. I can scale it. I can put it where I want to put it. Somewhere there maybe. And let's see. How do we attach this? I'm going to grab the edges. See, you can also extrude edges, not just faces. I'm going to extrude those edges. Pull them out. Let's see if it worked the other side. Yes, that's cool. A little bit more maybe. Extrude one more time just to get a more defined surface. You know, put it on, grab those edges, and just stick them on properly. Boom. Okay. Now what I can do is I can just extrude this thing. I can extrude it, and it should work beautifully. Okay. There we go. I can tighten it up where I need to again. These tools that I'm showing you are pretty much the tools you're going to be using for the majority of your modeling. So now I'm putting edge loops around those edges. You see that? See how it tightens it up? Tightens it up perfectly. Boom. The closer they are, the more definition it gives your bend or what you've done to that side. So there we go. I've just tightened this up a little. I'm going to tighten up the top so it just gives it, there we go, nice and flat on the top and bottoms. Maybe it's a piece of metal, maybe it's a leather strap. We don't know. No one knows. This is the mystery. This is the mystery, people. This is why we're here. Okay, so basically just tightening it up, seeing what's happening with it. Cool. And so quickly you can create different things you need from the shapes you already have. If you want something sitting flatly, if you've ever looked at a model and thought, how do they do that? How do they model a spaceship or an airplane? We'll get into that. And how do they model it that every piece fits so perfectly on the next piece? This is pretty much exactly one of the ways of how to get that looking perfect. Okay. So now what do we want to do? We want to make like a little bolt, something that bolts the strap onto the belt. So we're seeing with this, okay, can this work? Let's have a look. Nah, it's not a good shape. I want a bolt. Will this work? Is the answer. Let's have a look. That's the thing about 3D. It's trying. It's trial and error. It's trial and error. Will this give me a proper, what do they call them? A nut, a bolt. And we're trying to get that kind of a cog shape, that 5 or 6 sided shape. So, what are we going to choose? That's right, we're going to choose something cool that helps us, a prism. Why? How does this help us? How does this help us? Because in its options, you get cool options to give it as many sides as you want. So, boom, look at that. Just quickly, you can just make the shape you are after. Use your primitives, learn your primitives, learn what attributes they have, because these things can help you out. They can help you out so much in little things that you need, or basic shapes that you need that you can expand upon. That saves you a hell of a lot of time, because if you wanted to create this manually using a cube or something, it's going to take you a while. Instead, you can press one button and you've got it. So there we go. I've got the nut and I'm putting the bolt in it. And okay, so I've duplicated that cylinder. Why did I duplicate that cylinder? I'm putting it into a layer. I'm hiding it. So that cylinder, that duplicate, I'm hiding it. Now I can take my first object, my second object, and I can go to Boolean, boom, and it cuts that object out. And because I duplicated, I've got the nut that fits perfect, the bolt, whatever it is, that fits perfectly in that hole. Okay. So now I'm going to take edges. I'm going to select, double click, select the edge loop, and I'm going to bevel. Okay. Bevel. Boom. And this is a beautiful tool as well. This gives you beautiful bevels around things. So if you're looking for, you know, a lot of mechanical things, cars or robots or things, they'll all use bevels like this. It's an amazing tool. It works wickedly. And that just gives me something smooth, okay? It just gives me a nice smoothness to this bolt or whatever, screw, whatever you want to call it. Now we've got that problem again. Remember the three-sided polys? So I'm going to take those, I'm going to delete them, and I'm going to recreate my own. I want them to be quads. So how do I do that? I've deleted those, and now we use that append polygon tool. Okay, now we can build our own mesh or surface. So we've taken away that one where all those three-sided polygons lead to one point. We want to append these polygons, so I'm going to go from one side to the other. Okay, hit Y. Y just completes it. So click, click, Y, click, click, Y, click, click, Y, and then this one will be the last four-sided polygon. And we'll do the same to this side. Click, click, Y, clickety, click, Y. So it's just a cleaner way of modeling. I always try and get rid of any three sides or over. This just gives me a way cleaner kind of a model. So now you see things going one way and the other. It's just a lot more clean. I like it better, and it's simpler. Okay, so everything is four sides here, which is cool. Which means if we do decide to smooth it later on, we can sharpen this up quite nicely. Okay, so we can get it nice edges over here. Boom, boom. Cut it up there. I mean, this is if you want like extreme detail, which is not recommended if you're not going to see it, because at the end of the day, this thing isn't going to be really that scene. So I can take all of these edges now. Let's go back in here. Select faces. Sorry, I can select these faces, and what I can do with those now is what did I want to do with those? I can extrude them and just offset them a little. Bring it up a little, something like that. No. Extrude again. I hit G and just bring it up like that. Okay. So now I've got something quite cool. Okay. I've got a nice little edge on that. You know, maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't. I'm going to take these edges over here, double click on the edge, double click on that edge too, not that one. Let's just leave the bottom one. Let's just click on the top one so it goes all the way around. It doesn't go all the way around, okay? It's because we've got like some tries and stuff in there, some bad shapes, but I'm going to leave those for now because it's such a small object. I can clean it up later. Edit mesh, and I'm going to bevel that, and then I'm just going to bring it up a little, something like that. And I'm okay with this. This looks cool. This looks really cool. So there we go. Then I'll take those two. I'm going to say Control G. That means group it. I'm going to center my pivot. So my pivot's right in the center again. And this way, it just allows me to rotate it 90 degrees and put it into place. Okay. Let's put this little thing into place. It needs to go a hell of a lot smaller. You see how small it is? So that's why I don't stress about like the crazy details of this thing. We can just do something like that, push it in, and it's big. Let's make it smaller, something like that. Okay. So that to me looks cool. Okay. Boom. We can Control D, the group, and push it on that one. Just zoom up onto it and push it into place. Rotate it a bit this way, and just put it into place. Okay. So there we go. I mean, you know, we can start doing things like this, which is cool. I'm gonna smooth that one. That is smooth. And then just take this, that and that, and just bring it a little bit down, maybe something like that. Okay. And the cool thing now is I can take all of these things. I can take this group. I can take the entire group of those. I can take this and this, just select one and hit up on the keyboard to select the groups. I can take the entire group and group that, and there's the beauty of it. I can Control D, and I can just rotate it a little bit this way. Control D, rotate it a bit this way, and then I can take that, just select one on each, keep pressing up, so you select the entire hierarchy, which leads to the group. Control D, so I've got 2 of those now, and just put them on the other side, something like that. So there we go, our belt's starting to take a little bit of shape. These aren't the greatest things on earth, but fine. Okay, before I controlled and duplicated all of them, I should have just tightened a few little things up so they just look a little bit better, like that, and maybe something like that. Probably should have done that. Didn't. It's okay. Because the beauty is I can just take these again. I can hit up on the keyboard. I can delete them. I can take this one, hit up on the keyboard, and just do this extremely quickly. Boom, boom. Select another one, up on the keyboard, duplicate, and swing it around. Okay, so you can do things quite quickly once you get into it. So there we go. I've got like these 2 little pathetic bags here. I want to try and make them bigger, so I'm going to select all of them, and I'm going to group that, so it gives me a brand new group. And from there, I can just make it bigger. Don't want to do it like that. I want to center my pivot. Why is that centering like that? Center pivot. Okay, shouldn't center pivot right there. It's a little weird. Let's grab everything again, center those pivots, and then group it, and then center that pivot. Okay. Sometimes if a pivot is off, then it'll take the distance between the 2 pivots. So I just center pivot everything, so I just get it dead straight in the center. Okay, so now that I've got that, I can do the same to this one. Take all of those. I'm going to center pivot all of them. I'm going to group them. I'm going to center pivot on those, and I can grow that stack too. Okay, cool. Put it exactly where I want to put it. And there we go. So now we're starting to get like a belt, I guess. I don't know. Something dark side. I can delete this and this, so it just gives it a bit of differentiation on the 2. And then from here, I can make my belt look a little cooler. I can take my faces, check this out, so I can remember, shift select the next one, so I get the loops, shift select that one, shift select that one, and now I've got kind of like 2 cool loops. The one is thinner than the other. I don't want that, so I'm going to be using just the one, and then I'll bring it to that one maybe. Or I can just make it a bit bigger. So I'll take that. Now I can do 2 things. I can just extrude from there, or I can, let's just fix this up really quickly. Okay. All I got to do is just bring that up a bit. Boom. Okay, so we fixed that problem. Now I can take the 2, take those 2, and I've got the entire loops. I can say mesh, and I can say duplicate. Now it might only have duplicated one of them because they're separate meshes, so it did both of them. That's cool. And then I've got 2 separate meshes here. Okay, see that? I got 1 and I got 2. So I want to combine those. So I'll say mesh, combine. Boom. Now I've got 1 mesh. Okay, I've got 1 mesh for both of those. It just makes my life a little easier. So I'm going to hit 3 on that just to smooth it. Hit 3 on this. No, not yet. I'm going to extrude this. Okay. Ever so slightly. Then I can hit 3 on the keyboard. And now I've just got something that just kind of differentiates it. You know, if you want to put a different color onto that, assign new material, and you want to put like a, let's just stick with blends for now. And then material attributes to get to my materials. You know, now you know, you can just add cool little details onto it. And then the sky's the limit, really. You can do whatever you want. You can start adding. So if I take these faces here, all of these faces, boom, I can leave that on there, and then I can say edit mesh, extrude, duplicate, boom. So I've got those duplicated, and now I can just hit 3 on my keyboard, deselect that one. Okay, go into object mode, deselect that one, and now I can just extrude this a little. Okay, you see, it's you can just start extruding on an extrude on an extrude. It's cool, it's awesome. Now that I've got that, I can just press that into place, set the pivot, just put that back where it should belong, and just little things now. Now you can start just going a mental, as I say. I can tighten this up a bit, tighten that up a bit, bring that one in there, and just give it a bit of a kind of an offset, something like that. Um, you know, just do what you want to do. Just start modeling things. Start making things, your way. It's cool. Just push it down a bit like that. Something, you know, make it yours. Make it the way you want to see it. Give it a bit of differentiation so it looks real, and you're good. Okay. So that's like the basics of starting to create something cool. I mean, you can go ahead and create your belt buckles. You can put holes in the thing. So if I create a polygon cylinder and I size it, boom, 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 and I just put it 90 degrees, just say 90 degrees, and push it directly out like that. Now, I want to do it for the entire belt. Okay, not the entire belt, like a bit of the belt, so he's got like holes in it. So what I can do there is I can say, I can bring back my grid. Boom. Okay. I can take inserts. I want to move its pivot point. And I can snap to grid, which will allow me to snap it straight into the center there. So how does this help me? Well, I can start duplicating these things. I can take both of them, duplicate them. You see? Start doing cool shit like that. I'll move these a little bit to this side and a little bit to this side. Okay, I don't want all of them, so I'll deselect those, just delete that one. Now I can select all these little guys. Boom, 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 boom. Just move them a little bit better. And do the same on that side. Okay, something like that. So now if I take my belt and I take one of these things, I can say mesh, and in fact, I can take all of these. Let's do that again quickly. And all of these guys. Let's see if this does work. I can mesh, I can combine those, and then I can just take my belt. I can take a shift select that, mesh, combine, boolean, sorry, and difference, and I get that. Boom. Okay, now you can't smooth this anymore because when you do a boolean, it messes up your mesh completely. So you either got to redo this mesh or redraw the lines, or you got to take the belt. Check this out. I'm going to mesh select. I'm going to smooth it. Okay. I'm going to put its divisions up to about 3. So we're looking pretty damn good. Now I can take those two. I can mesh and I can boolean difference, and then I get something clean. Okay. So that's pretty damn cool. Okay. Now I've got something that looks like I don't know. Looks weird, doesn't it? But these are the basics. These are the basics of doing something like this. You can add cool little things. You can always go back here. I could have duplicated my low res, so I could still pull off a few geometry off it. It's not the end of the world. It's always good to know. So I'm grabbing this brush. Remember the select brush. First, let's deselect all these edges, and then it's my paintbrush tool. I hold down B if I want to make it bigger or smaller, and now I can just paint things. So if I want to do this, something like that, just a block, and then I can edit mesh. I can extract that. I don't want to extract that. I want to duplicate it, so I'm going to undo that. I'm going to say edit mesh and duplicate. Okay, deselect that. And now, look, I'm just going to pull this off extremely center pivot. I just want to pull this off quick. It's still latching to snapping to grids. I don't need all these lines, okay? So I'm just gonna get rid of them. I don't need them. Oops. I'll leave one there in the middle. But otherwise I don't need those. What else do I need to do? I need to delete its vertices. Now, if I delete this, something's going to go wrong. Boom, I get that. Okay? Because this vertices on the edges aren't fully connected all around it. So this one is connected to 1, 2, 3, 4. This is connected to 1, 2. So it looks at it and says, okay, you're not fully connected. I'll delete you too. So just deselect those corner ones, then hit delete, and you're good to go. Okay. Now translate Z. I'm going to put this to 0. Put that back into place, and then I can just extrude, and do something cool there or whatever. Okay. And then I can go here. I can take edges. I can take edges on the sides. I'm just double clicking. I can bevel. You can do just cool things now. You can start adding different things, just combining things, just making your stuff look cool. Okay. And there we go. So, if I take this and I snap the pivot back to the insert, and let's just snap you back there, insert again. I can move it a little bit, and then I can start duplicating it and just filling in maybe different gaps. Put it wherever you want. I suppose I've got one thing over here. So I can do something like that, something like that. You can just start going a little crazy now and doing some cool stuff of your own. Okay? So, I mean, this was an extremely basic thing. It's just little techniques of modeling, okay? Slowly getting to where we want. So what did we use? I mean, most of the time we used edge loop tool, pen to poly, extrude. Mainly just edge loop tool and extrude, okay? And then we also used a lot of duplicating. So duplicating faces, extracting faces. We learned how to Boolean, so how to take two objects and cut one out of the other. How to combine things. You can also separate the geometry that you've done. So that's cool too. So in other words, if I've got this, remember we made it into one object. So I can also say mesh separate, boom, and now they are two separate objects again. Okay. But I'll keep them as one. Okay, so I'm going to save that project. We'll see if we do something else with it. But basically, that's what you're going to be using most of the time. You're going to be using tools like extruding, pivots, these tools that we put here. We'll get into other tools as we continue and as we start modeling more intricate, more crazy things. We'll start using more and more tools. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I'll speak to you guys again soon. Cheers.